Tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
I moved to Needham 8 years ago. I live here in town with my husband Rehan and 2 girls who go to Mitchell Elementary. And like most people, we moved to Needham because it seemed like a welcoming community and the schools were well rated. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience living here. It was probably the best decision we ever made. So professionally, I'm a scientist, and I work right now in scientific publishing, where I help scientists put their most exciting work out there for the broader public, and through that I facilitate rigorous peer review, and I also help with the communication of science for a broader audience. And prior to that, I've been in this greater Boston area for 20 years. I went to grad school down the road in UMass Medical School in Worcester. So I've been around for a while, and in Needham now, as I said, 8 years. And locally, I am involved in several initiatives that are overall speaking, they are part of community building, they are part of supporting our schools and our education at large, and at bringing people together. And yeah, so that's my life, mom of 2 and scientist and editor professionally.
Why did you decide to run for school committee?
I'm very passionate about education at large. I have had experiences with multiple different educational systems across many different countries, including the United States. I do believe that there are many different measures of excellence, and there are many different ways for kids to learn and to thrive. I'm also passionate about community building, as I said earlier. So these 2 passions really kindled my interest in thinking about local ways that I could contribute to the town. So this began really as the mom of 2 girls who go to Mitchell Elementary. I'm part of their PTC, where I serve as vice president. I've been a part of the Race, Equity, Access, and Leadership, or REAL Coalition, and the Needham Resilience Network. And in both of these, we really think about equity, we think about mental health, we think about bringing students and the community at large together to help support one another. I've been a part of the strategic planning process for the Portrait of a Needham Graduate 2.0, so looking forward, where I was invited to participate as a parent. And professionally, what I do is I listen, I ask questions, I'm very curious, I love thinking, and I love listening to diverse opinions and voices. I do believe that different perspectives are very, very important to listen to, and have all voices at the table and just bringing people together for a better outcome. So all of these experiences really define who I am, what I'm interested in, and they are really the main foundation for why I'm motivated to run for the school committee, where I really believe that the education, the well-being, the resilience of our students really lies at the very core of that lies a very robust school system. And this, of course, beautifully aligns with the priorities of Needham as a town, which has always valued and prioritized education and its students.
What do you believe are the most pressing issues facing the schools currently, and what do you think needs to be done to address those challenges?
In my opinion, there are 3 main issues that I'm passionate about. One is academic performance, second is wellness and resilience, and the third is thoughtful budgeting. So academic performance is my priority because people come to Needham because the schools are well rated. It's a good school district. It could be great. It could be the best. And for that, I do think that there are several opportunities. More broadly speaking, what we need is that we need to prioritize all our learners and recognize that one size fits no one. There are different passions, there are different aptitudes, there's different motivations. So we need to make sure that we are addressing the learning needs of all our kids. And for this, we need best-in-class infrastructure. We need very innovative curricula. And we need very competitive contracts for our teachers because we need to hire, retain, and support the best teachers. We also think we also need to prioritize different levels of benchmarking nationally, internationally, right, across states. And I think this is really important, so we have a general qualitative measure of how our students are doing. And we can also then continue to be creative and innovative in helping them thrive through their own different strengths. The second is, as I said, is wellness and resilience. Technology has a pervasive effect on our kids and on us, right? And we are at a time and place where connections with one another are more important than ever. And I know home is an important part for this, for wellness and for resilience and support, but I do think that the schools can step in and provide a very important ecosystem where students are able to have the kinds of resources and support for well-being, for mental health. And when I see students, of course, this is also including the teachers and the broader community, so the education community at large. And let's foster an environment where we talk to one another, we are kind to one another, that we destigmatize mental health, we prioritize wellness and communication and collaborative learning opportunities. So I think this is really very important. And the town has a lot of really great resources as well that the schools could collaborate with, and we can really set an example as a town really championing this, I think, at this point of time. And lastly is budgeting, right? Thoughtful budgeting. We have to be fiscally responsible, and given the changes that are happening at the federal level, they will without a doubt have an effect at the state level. And we have a lot of ambitious plans for our town, right? Pollard needs to be rebuilt, and there is a plan in action for which eventually Mitchell will be rebuilt. We need to make sure that when we are budgeting for these, and there will be costs, and it's long overdue, so we need to rapidly prioritize these plans, but we need to build to endure. I don't think we will be in a position where we can afford to build and rebuild every couple of years, right? And so build to endure is a priority. These are high capital projects, and I understand that the expenses need to go to them, and this is something that of course is for the schools but involves many different stakeholders, whether it's the town, the state, and of course the MSBA. But I also mean that when we talk about budgeting, you look at things line item by line item. Whatever needs to be, whatever trade-offs that we need to make them, but the priority should be maximum benefits for our students and for our schools. I've been asked what some of these items are, and they are categories like perhaps professional and technical services or administrative technology, and I don't know what kind of things fall under them, but I think it's reasonable to assume that are we using are we thinking about cost and fiscal responsibilities when we think about vendors, when we think about contracts? Are we thinking forward for the future in terms of how can we responsible so that we don't have to make blunt cuts to things down the road that would impact education? And this involves, of course, I love that Needham prioritizes and is so strong a champion of special education and learning. And how do we make sure that we sustain that given the climate of everything that's going on, and additional more restrictive budgets that may need to be set down the road. So I will say that one additional thing that we can also think about there are partnering with foundations and private organizations. Are there additional places where we can look for grants? A lot of tech companies have interest in education, right? You have Google Classrooms, for example. So how can we also partner with tech? How can we be resourceful? But how can we make sure that all of these things that we need to do happen in a way that does not affect the learning and the benefits? It has to be addressing the needs of our students, and whatever we do needs to be directly, maximally benefiting our students.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think one thing that we don't talk about enough is how rapidly changing the world is, and that the future of our kids is going to look very different. We don't even know what the kinds of jobs are going to be. We don't know what the environment will be like, what resources that they have. So in a rapidly changing world, we must embrace this change. We must look forward and be prepared for what's coming, right? I know we are moving right now It's just been, we're still reeling from the effects of the pandemic. And for many years to come, we will look at what those effects have been on learning, on wellness, on social isolation, on lots of different aspects, chronic health conditions. But we have, again, the pervasive effect of social media on the lives of adults, but our children. In that regard, I love the Needham schools. They have been a leader in championing the cell phone free school environment. That's really important, right? There is a right place and time for that, and that they're leading the way where it's not disruptive, and it fosters human to human communication. We have AI and the rise of AI, and you can't sit that one out, right? And the analogy I used recently is you could not sit the internet out because we didn't know what its potential was, and it was here, and AI is here. We need to embrace it. We need to think about how we can use it in teaching, in classrooms, in learning, how we can use it for efficiency. And yes, there's a lot that we don't know, but I think the mindset is really, really important. We have changing priorities of the government in terms of funding, in terms of education, and of course we have local socioeconomic factors in Needham, the growth of the town, the development of the town. So there's a lot going on, and yet resilience is what we need to think about. And this is where I believe that I can be really helpful, and my fresh perspective, my background, my expertise, my experiences across different educational systems, my data-driven decision-making approach. I do hope that all of these will provide a fresh perspective to our school committee and our town at large. And again, at the end of the day, I do believe very much in community building, in prioritizing our children and the education. So I do hope that even with this rapidly changing, seemingly tumultuous environment, that we can look ahead, and that we can come together and we can do what's best for our schools. And I hope to be able to contribute to that as a school committee candidate, and hope to earn everyone's support and vote.